I'm Hatok.
And I'm Ernesto.
And today we're giving our thoughts on the Microsoft E3 2014 conference. Okay, so first off, I thought Microsoft would be in full recovery mode, and I was right. They have to win back public relations somehow. And the first clear indicator of this is the fact that they said this conference would be all about games. And they did not lie, it's just games.
No TV, they didn't even mention Kinect once.
There are Kinect games though, so don't worry people who actually bought an Xbox One.
Yeah, you still can use the Kinect, but...
Okay, so when they started off, I was honestly still pretty cynical. I predicted it would be Call of Duty, and it was.
Yeah.
The guy's like, we're going to bring you to the next generation. Call of Duty.
Yeah, he's like, this will be the most important game.
And then he said that you're going to get the DLC first.
Yeah, but how much first? Like a day? I don't know.
You get the DLC pretty early on Xbox, but who cares?
Yeah, I know. So yeah, just for a couple things that they showed from Call of Duty Advanced Warfare that I like. You can finally jump now. You could jump a little bit, but not really before, so it's more like playing Titanfall or Crisis, that kind of jumping. You have a jetpack, which is pretty
That's
cool.
what the game feels like. It's just like, okay, we're going to take Crisis, Titanfall, everything. They're just going to put it all in this game instead.
Yeah. And
they have mechs, they have like lasers.
Yeah, the exoskeleton
mech suits. Like actual flying robots and stuff, drones and stuff, drone bees. They're really ineffectual drone bees or something like that.
Hundreds and hundreds of them in swarms. It's kind of cool.
Now you thought it took place in like Asia or something?
Yeah, there's a lot of like Asian-looking writing on the building, so I'm assuming it's over there. Although like Vancouver, you go down there's quite a bit of Asian writing, so.
Yeah, but this is Call of Duty. Do they really want to have like ethnic diversity?
No, of course.
There was that black guy, like really stereotypical black guy.
And you lose your arm too. That's pretty interesting.
Next up was Forza Horizon 2.
Basically, the only new exciting thing about this is there's no online lobbies. You just play right away.
Yeah, it's like an open world car game. Basically, it's like Cars, the Pixar movie, but in game form.
And fancy.
World of Cars.
Yes.
Next up was Evolve, which I've heard about a bit before. I'm not terribly interested, but it looks kind of like Left 4 Dead or Team Fortress 2 kind of thing, where you have two squads with like different classes fighting, but there's also a thing that is chasing a monster that evolves as you go through it, and you have to fight that too, or something like that. It actually ended with hashtag 4v1, so maybe there's 4 teams, and there's like the monster as well.
Oh, I think it's the 4 different classes versus the one monster.
Either way, neither of us are very interested.
Yeah. Probably the most exciting one for me is Assassin's Creed Unity, set in 1789 Paris. Just from the little bit of gameplay they showed, it looks like you got much smoother playing. You can actually walk through the buildings now. Other than the really new smooth-looking parkour, you have this 4-person local multiplayer sort of thing going on.
Is it local though? Like they had 4 screens, but it's probably online. I'd really love it if it was local. That would actually be so much fun, but...
Yeah. Either way, it's still kind of cool. It's really new, so it's like 4 people. You're all doing the main story mode, or I'm assuming it's the main story mode, but 4 people working together. So it's kind of interesting.
And then they showed off Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't really have much to say about Dragon Age. I haven't tried it yet, but Laurel hates it, so it probably isn't good.
It's coming out in October, so there's that.
And then there's Sunset Overdrive. Last year, I said that this game looked pretty cool, and Ernesto had some slightly less optimistic views. He said it looked like some just stupid hipster game. Now
now I'm impressed.
It's changed.
Yeah.
The roles are reversed. Because now I'm kind of getting sick of it. I kind of wish the game would get over itself. It's like, oh, an actual colorful game? That would have been like clever 10 years ago.
I don't know, it's nice, like all the zombie type apocalypse things are always so dark. This is so colorful and nice and fun, it's like an amusement park.
But right after this, they show another bright and colorful zombie game.
Yeah, but before they show that one.
And that's the thing, almost every game so far shown, besides like the stereotypical Call of Duty and stuff like that, it's just like, here, look, it's actually has bright colorfuls, it's fantasy, it's creative and stuff like that. So Sunset Overdrive is kind of losing its edge, because like, the whole dull gray thing kind of isn't what happens anymore. People want to show off their bright colors now. The 70s are coming back.
They also have this 8-player online co-op mode, which looks pretty cool. It's like 8 people working together doing awesome zombie killing stuff.
Though I agree with what you said during the actual conference. I think that Versus would be way more fun.
Yeah, way more fun than the actual story part.
Ernesto doesn't have much to say about this, but I thought the Dead Rising HD Turbo Omega thing was really funny because people are always walking that, and I love it when a company can have enough like self-awareness to make fun of themselves. So I don't know, it looks pretty charming. It's just Dead Rising 3 DLC, but still, it looks pretty cool.
Do you like anything other than the name though?
Well, it's a bunch of Capcom stuff. I'm sure any Capcom fan would love to have it.
Yeah.
You just fight zombies with a bunch of Capcom characters. Yeah, they mentioned 2 dancing games, but they didn't really show a whole lot.
Yeah, they didn't show any of it until the very end of the conference. There's a little montage that showed some people dancing, but it's really the only Kinect stuff that they showed off.
Besides some indie games later on, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Those 2 games, by the way, are
Disney Fantasia, Music Evolved, and Dance Central Spotlight.
Then they showed Fable Legends. It's kind of a cool concept, but I wasn't really impressed by what they're actually showing. It's kind of cool, like I've got 4 different classes doing their different things. I've got like a magic person and this like egotistical sword fighter guy that's capable of self-narration. So that's kind of funny. And the cool kind of twist is that another player plays as like the villain, setting traps and stuff like that. So and it's like an RTS almost.
Yeah, they have like a tower defense kind of mode in it, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, but
I don't know if I'd really want to play that, but it's kind of different, I guess.
So then there's Project Spark, which looks really generic, I gotta say. Like, I don't know, it's got a Little Big Planet kind of thing going. It's like build your own games and stuff, and it did show like making platformers and like actual like board games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it just isn't the pieces they give you, like, because the examples is like, oh, a desert place where you fight a skeleton thing, a forest place where you fight some goblins and stuff.
All generic. I mean, maybe when you actually play it, like they just made generic for the video, but maybe when you play it, it's a lot better.
I guess the thing though is like, all the stuff they talked about was in the most generic kinds of tropes. Like, like even at the end when they try and show how creative it is, it's just they add in space. That's a parody of what creativity is.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, they had pretty much just a gigantic fuck you to Conquer fans by saying, oh, look, guys, Conquer's in it. And that's all you're going to get. I feel like this is how people felt when Spyro came back and he was in Skylanders, or when Banjo and Kazooie were in Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. And then they finally got to their artsy indie games. This kind of reminded me of like Ico or Shadow of the Colossus or something like that. Strong Sad is in it, or someone who looks a lot like it, and he plays like this little thing, and there's a scary owl monster, and then the Strong Sad dies.
Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah.
Ernesto almost cried when he saw it.
Yeah, the game's called Ori and the Blind Forest. And I don't know.
And just going by that name, you can tell what kind of game it is.
I'm not going near it though, just because Strong Sad died, and he's one of my favorite Homestead Runner characters, so. Oops.
They showed a tiny bit of Halo. I don't really play Halo. You've played 3, haven't you?
I played 2 and 3.
I played 2 back in the day, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not that much interested in the franchise.
Yeah.
But I might be, because they also announced a collection of all 4 of the Master Chief games. And all on one console. That's pretty cool. Plus they have this kind of weird thing where you can look at like just the key moments of each one.
Yeah,
like
so
the highlight reel,
like
basically.
You play like a new game with all the highlights from the 4 games before.
It's basically Halo the Abridged series.
Yeah. And then they have completely remastered Halo 2, like all the maps from it look way, way nicer now. They said there's going to be over 100 maps for the game.
Yeah, every map from all the games. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder if all the online's gonna be like unified now or something, or if it's gonna be 4 separate online things you have to go into.
Oh yeah, they never really talked about that. I'd assume it'd be unified, but who knows?
I wonder if local is staying for the old ones too.
Hopefully.
So after that, they talked about ID at Xbox, which is their new plan to get more indie games in. Probably because last gen they kind of had a monopoly on indie games, but they screwed them all over, and now they desperately want them back. But the thing is, it went by too fast for us to really develop anything to say about any of these games. But
just the
indie games are cool. I recognize one game, I couldn't remember the name, but it's got like a nice pixel art style. Not like the typical like 8-bit or 16-bit kind of thing, just like really good pixel art.
And Plague Inc. from the iPhone and Android.
Oh yeah, Plague.
Coming.
Why would no? That's not even. That's an old browser game.
Oh, is it? Oh, well.
So now you can finally pay money to try and take Madagascar. They've been hinting at it for a long time, but they finally have a new Tomb Raider game announced. Rise of the Tomb Raider, Dark Knight Rises, that kind of thing. So that's good. Tomb Raider 2013 was a really good game.
Yeah.
Kind of like Uncharted, but you know, Laura Croft has a British accent that gives her kind of bonus points. Then they showed Witcher 3 Monster Hunter Edition. That's what it reminded me of. Apparently Witcher 2 is really, really good, but I never got around to playing it. But yeah, this just reminds me a lot of Monster Hunter.
And then another Xbox One exclusive, Phantom Dust, which I don't really know anything about.
I don't know anything about it either. Apparently it's a revival of some classic franchise. That's going to make someone somewhere happy.
Yeah. And then there's a new Tom Clancy game called The Division, and it looks really awesome. It's coming out next year.
It's not technically new. They announced it last year, and just like Watch Dogs, it looks a lot worse than it did then.
Oh, it's that game. I remember now.
And one of the things they have going with it is this really fake thing where they have these people talking like they're playing the game. They're trying to pretend it's like the local multiplayer world, but it'll never actually be like that.
The way they
people
had
don't
it
talk like
scripted
that.
Yeah. Some things in it look really cool, like you go in a subway train area and you're trying to remember what happened, and like a hologram kind of the subway and the people running by comes up and you can see what happened. And like when you pull out your map, the ground around you is the map, so it's not like you pull out a separate menu screen for it. It just comes up right below you like a hologram. It looks kind of cool, I think.
It's looking more and more Assassin's Creed-ish, I think. Oh yeah, so Platinum Games announced their new IP, Scalebound. It honestly doesn't look that great to me, but it's Platinum. It's gotta be good. They make nothing but good.
And that's an Xbox One exclusive.
And then they announced the revival of a classic franchise, Crackdown, which I thought wasn't actually that old, but apparently it is. It was weird, and it didn't really tell us anything about the game at all, but that's the thing at least.
Yeah, they didn't really show me anything about Crackdown. I've never heard of the old series, so I don't know anything about it. All I know is there's this guy screaming and the building explodes, so...
It's a very elaborate way to blow up a building, too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, actually.
So, overall, I was actually really pleasantly surprised by Microsoft's E3. I'm not convinced to get an Xbox One or anything like that, but, I mean, it's way better than I was expecting. They really pulled out all the guns this time.
Yeah, I wish they kind of would have shown some stuff about apps, though. Like, I know they wanted to talk just about games.
Yeah, they stuck to just games too much, I think. So you need to talk about the console and where that's going and stuff, too, I think. That's important.
Yeah, because they're trying to make apps a big thing on there. Like, oh, we have more than just a Netflix app. You can do all this. So I'm kind of interested to see what else they were going to show off, but maybe they don't have much coming for that, so they didn't want to talk about it.
And you can't just, like, ignore Kinect and stuff like that. Like, you have to support this stuff that you bothered to put out.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they didn't only talk about Kinect like they did a few years ago. But...
Or only TV, or only sports, or something like that. It's a nice variety. It's the first time I've actually been interested in pretty much all the games they've shown.
So yeah, overall, it's a great conference by Microsoft. A huge step up from last year. I already kind of wanted to get Xbox One, but now I really want to get it even more, so good job to them. We'll see how Sony does though.